While we're waiting, congratulations, Mr. Ochoa, on the Brownsville Herald article. You look very distinguished on the front cover.
Thank you, thank you.
Was it on the front page?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
With all those books.
Yeah.
All the codes? I'm gonna get it framed.
All right. This meeting of the Board of Adjustment of the City of Brownsville is now called to order. Time is 5:30. If everyone will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First order of business is approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of September 4th, 2019. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Additions
Additions or corrections?
I got a couple.
Go for
I mean,
it.
it's the same thing, but it come up complete. We're echoing real bad. I don't know if they could correct that, but that's not usually the case. We're echoing very badly. Anyway, the correction says on item number 4, page 2, item number 6, page 3, and item number 7 on page 4, there's no case numbers. The case numbers were left out. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, I have nothing else.
And then the one correction I had is I know Joey Hinojosa sat in as an alternate at the last meeting. We need him on the roll call. Any other corrections or additions?
I move for the adoption of the minutes as corrected.
Very good. There's a motion to adopt the minutes as corrected by Mr. Vanderford. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Garcia. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Public comment we normally do in relation to business that doesn't have public hearings. So if the board approves, I'd suggest we move the public comment to after the public hearings and just before discussion and action.
Fine, approved.
Good? Very good. Public hearings, case 2019-024-V.
Good afternoon, Chairman, board members. Case number 2019-24-B, public hearing and action to consider a variance from Chapter 320, Article 2, sidewalk facilities to exempt the property from right-of-way sidewalk along Alaska Road, 6.5 acres out of Block 83, El Jardín subdivision, located at 9241 Alaska Road, as requested by Jose Antonio Trevino. Article 2, sidewalk facilities, Section 320-37, subsection A2, sidewalks should be 4 feet in width and located adjacent and parallel to the property line with a minimum unpaved parkway width of 4 feet. The parkway width is the distance from the back of the curb to the leading edge of the sidewalk. Subsection A3, if physical constraints require sidewalks to be placed against the back of the curb, the width of the sidewalk should be increased to a minimum of 5 feet. This is an aerial of the property. This is a 200-foot radius. This is a portion of a survey of the same property. And this is a crop of the front area of the same property. This is existing conditions. As you can see, there is a swale. This is a rural area, a rural street. That was a video of the same property, the existing conditions. Grounds for granting a variance, the Board of Adjustment may grant a variance pursuant to Texas Local Government Code if the variance is not contrary to the public interest due to special conditions, and the variance will be in accordance with the spirit of the zoning ordinance. The Board of Adjustments may not grant a variance for financial hardship. Staff recommendation, staff supports granting the variance. Request to exempt the property from right-of-way sidewalk along Alaska Road.
Very good. Any questions for staff before we open the public hearing? This is a public hearing. It is now open. If anyone would like to come up and speak on this petition, please come forward to the podium, state your name for the record. Very good. Any other discussion before we close the public hearing? I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
There's a motion by Mr. Vanderford. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Slackman. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Consistent with what we've done in others, I would recommend approving the variance so long as there are no curbs and gutters installed in this area.
Also move.
I'll second.
There's a motion by Mr. Vanderford, second by Mrs. Garcia to approve the variance as requested to remain in effect so long as there are no curbs and gutters on this street. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. 2019-25V.
Case number 2019-25-B, public hearing and action to consider a variance from Chapter 320, Article 2, Sidewalk Facilities, to exempt the property from right-of-way sidewalk along Coyote Street for Lot 52, Block 8, Barrera Gardens, Number 2 subdivision, located at 555 Coyote Street, as requested by Jorge A. Rodriguez, Maria Elena Rodriguez, and Michelle Rodriguez. Article 2, Sidewalk Facilities, Section 320-37, subsection A2. Sidewalks should be 4 feet in width and located adjacent and parallel to the property line with a minimum paved parkway width of 4 feet. The parkway width is the distance from the back of the curb to the leading edge of the sidewalk. Subsection A3, if physical constraints require sidewalks to be placed against the back of the curb, the width of the sidewalk should be increased to 5 feet. This is an aerial of the property. This is 200-foot radius. This is a portion of a survey, the same property. This is existing conditions. This is also a rural road. It's a video also of the existing conditions. Grounds for granting a variance, the Board of Adjustments may grant a variance pursuant to Texas Local Government Code if the variance is not contrary to the public interest due to special conditions, and if also is in accordance with the spirit of the zoning ordinance. The Board of Adjustments may not grant a variance for financial hardship. Staff recommendation, staff supports granting the variance request to extend the property from right-of-way sidewalk along Coyote Street.
Any questions for staff before we open the public
I
hearing?
assume there are no other sidewalks in the adjacent area from what I can see.
There's none.
Thank you, sir.
This is a public hearing, and the public hearing is now open. If anyone would like to speak on this petition, please come forward and state your name for the record. Easy meeting today. Very good. Before we close the public hearing, just a couple of comments on this one, and I guess related to the last one also. I like that we're including what a sidewalk should look like and what a sidewalk should be, but I know previously we also included 320-38, which specified when a sidewalk is required or where a sidewalk is required, about it being both sides of a publicly maintained road. I think it's good information for the public to see as part of the presentation. So for any cases related to sidewalks, I'd recommend including that in the future. And on this road, I think it's a little bit of a stretch to call it a publicly maintained road. It looks like it's in severe neglect, but I think that just makes the case that much stronger. Any other discussion before we close the public hearing?
I move to close the public hearing.
Motion by Mr. Slackman to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Ms. Diaz. Any other discussion?
Just, do you want to double check that these are all just spectators and nobody wants to speak on this issue?
I'm guessing that most of them are students who are here to just observe the process.
And
And the latecomers, I'm guessing were here for the first case? Okay.
all right, I just want to be sure because I
Absolutely.
see adults there. So.
Oh, no, I agree. And I was going to open up when we get to public comment. We'll do that here in a second. But there is a motion and a second. Any other discussion to close the public hearing? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve variance to remain in effect so long as there are no curbs and gutters.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Vanderford. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Garcia to grant the variance to remain in effect until such time as there are curbs and gutters installed. Any other discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Now we have public comment, and for those of you guys in the audience, one of the other things we have coming up this evening is potential amendments to our rules of procedure. Since that does not normally require a public hearing, we create a public comment period on our agenda to give the public the opportunity to come up and ask questions or speak to any of those agenda items we have coming up if they have any concerns about those. Anyone interested in any public comments at this time? You guys are letting me off easy. Very good.
And as we mentioned, the topics, if then they have a comment, once they know the topics, then they could raise their hand.
Absolutely, and we'll entertain it. All right, discussion and action to amend the Board of Adjustment Rules of Procedure by adding section 2.4 on attendance. Did we get copies of the proposed language out?
Yes, everything was added to the FTP file.
Okay. Was that just late today? Because I didn't see it this morning.
I didn't see it.
No, it should have been added to the file last week.
Yeah, I checked this morning and I didn't see it there. Okay. Since you guys have not seen the language, I'd suggest we table.
I have not seen the language. I'd like the table.
Good?
Sorry.
All right.
Is it-
Is that a motion?
I'm making a motion to table.
There's a motion.
Until all board members can properly review the language we're going to use in this suggested adoption of rule.
There's a motion by Mr. Slackman to table the agenda item to amend the rules of procedure by adding section 2.4 in attendance. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Diaz. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed say nay. Motion carries. Any other business before we adjourn?
There is another item on the back of the agenda, item number 5.
Oh,
Oh, thank you. Discussion and action to schedule the Board of Adjustment training for October 9th, 2019, 5:30 PM.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You would have been the only one there.
No,
Do we have a possible location for that?
Not yet. We're thinking maybe the Blue Room, but I have to schedule that one, or double check
Okay.
that it's available.
And that date works for everyone here?
Yes.
Very
Fine.
good. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve training session for October 9th, 2019, 5:30 PM, location to be announced.
Not to exceed 3 hours.
Myrna's going to have to talk fast. Is there a motion? So moved by Mr. Vanderford. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Garcia. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Anything else before we adjourn? Time is 5:43. Meeting is adjourned.
I believe that is the fastest one we've
Without a doubt.